Welcome to Real Estate Radio Live, an informative and engaging hour discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your hosts, Bobbi Decker and Buddy Sopay of Sotheby's International Realty, provide education and insights important to buyers and sellers locally, nationally, and globally. Selling your home to a foreign buyer or a new recent transplant to your area? Contemplating a second home or a vacation property somewhere else? Looking to find a solid investor market area? Then this show is for you. And now, to guide you around the world of real estate, here's your hosts, Bobbi Decker and Buddy Sopay.
And welcome back. Doesn't it feel great to be back at RE Radio Live, Buddy?
RE Radio Live on the radio.
Yes.
Our podcast days are not over, of course.
No, they are not.
But we're back. We're back at the Wall Street Business Network. This is exciting. We love this.
Absolutely. AM 1220 with Salem Broadcasting, and then AM 860. The Answer. I mean, we're just all over the place now, Bud.
Well, don't you love it?
I do.
And let me take it one step further. This particular show is not going to do it. Although this will live stream when it airs, we're doing actually a little pre-recording here. We have to fess up, so you can't call in and talk to us today. But when we do the new format, which should be in the early part of or the latter part of October for us, it's actually going to also live stream over the web. So you will be able to see that beautiful Bobbi Decker, that very handsome Joe Kuchera, and yours truly, who will put any definition we care to on me. But
two handsome guys and a girl. There you go.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
There you go. But you can't wear those jammies anymore.
That's right.
They're going to see us as well as hear us.
Comb our hair and everything, huh?
Uh-huh.
No more bunny slippers and
bunny
dog
slippers.
on it.
No. Darn.
Oh, it's a new day. It's a new day and a new way.
But it's great to be back in the saddle again.
Amen. Amen.
And what are we starting out with, Bud?
So we're going to talk about staging today. When we stage our homes for sale, what does that mean? There's some different points of view, and we've been able to garner a beautiful report from the National Association of Realtors that is loaded with statistics. I know we just love to give you data upon data upon data, but the beauty of it is because of Bobbi's experience in the business, we can always translate what it really boils down to and what it means. If you happen to be selling your home and you want to consider whether you're going to stage or partially stage or not stage, these are the kinds of information and data that's going to be very helpful. And
I found this word to be very divisive in some areas, Bud, because they think staging means tens of thousands of dollars,
right,
or at least $5,000 plus, and that's not true. That's staging could be as much as painting the walls to get that fresh feel,
that pop,
and getting rid
colors.
of those, absolutely, and getting rid of the carpets, and hardwood is de rigueur now. Everybody seems to be allergic to the whole entire world. So having hardwood floors and no drapes, actually, it can be as simple as taking down all those 1950 drapes, 1960 drapes, taking out all that awful carpeting. That shag just doesn't make it.
Well, I thought it was coming back.
Even if the floors are not in great shape. Really good. Well, you know what?
I really shouldn't laugh. It is coming back.
Just not in orange, yellow, and brown.
Oh, no? Too bad.
Remember the one we had?
Hold up.
Where?
Up in Hillsborough? Mm-hmm. Well, yes.
Right. It was... and the thing was that it was actually decorated in the mid-50s, so to touch one room was to unravel it like a piece of yarn, like a sweater. You pull it, that one little piece of yarn, and pretty soon the sweater's gone. Well, you couldn't do it. Because if you did one bedroom, then the bath next to it needed to get done, then you had to go into the family room, and if the family room got done, then the kitchen would have to get done. So that was one where we actually... There was no cost to the seller. We played that up as a retro.
Yeah, we played it up as retro. I remember the pink bedroom.
Yes, bubblegum pink.
And it had its own bath, so we were quite fancy in those days. Yes. And the tile was pink and...
black.
Yeah. Yeah,
pink and black, because that was the bathroom to have in 1950s.
Yeah, and it was amazing, but people had fun coming into it because there is a lot of nostalgia for for people when they're buying a home, or if they've seen something like it, now they see it in reality. Mm-hmm. It all kind of pops. But I think Bobbi's making a critical point here. It may not be that, arm-twisting $15,000 or $15,000 to stage it, although it may be. The right home may deserve that kind of staging to really help it down the line. But Bobbi's gone in and on a number of occasions, taken the furniture that was there, cleaned out some of it, brought it down to a more, shall we say, appealing view, and used the furniture was there, but moved it around. And the biggest thing is always declutter. Mm-hmm. If you got a bookshelf full of 20 books, drop it down to 3 and lean them the right way. I mean, there's lots of tricks of the trade. The staging people that do this work have enormous number of little tricks and techniques.
Well, they're trying to get rid of the jarring, the chi. We've got the ebb and flow, the yin and the yang. I mean, and they all work with this feng shui principle, and that is to get rid of anything that's jarring, and clutter is always jarring, and anything to take away your interest in the home. And they now call the 1950 homes the mid-century look. Yes. And that's de rigueur with the millennials. They seem to just love it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
They're selling things at IKEA that I wanted my parents to get rid of.
Because we're so old-fashioned.
Oh, come on. We're the most old-fashioned people on the entire block,
do we have to have chrome around the edge of that kitchen table?
And now it's like, wow.
Yeah, gotta have it.
I know. It's just an amazing thing. And as Bud was talking about, please make sure that when you're talking to your agent that they're hearing what you have to say, because it's not cookie cutter. Some people want to stage maybe 1 or 2 rooms. If somebody's going through a divorce, you could lose custody of the family room and maybe 2 of the bedrooms. And what you don't want to have is people to come in and have empty rooms. Do you know what I mean? And it's just too, like I say, too jarring to their personalities. So you might just stage that room, and not to a great cost, but just so it's not vacant. And bedrooms can be vacant. I've gone into homes where they can. Yeah. But if you put in a little child's bedroom is all warm and fuzzy. You stick a teddy bear in one of those vacant rooms and already you've fuzzied it up. And what you want are the buyers to be drawn into the house, not to say, ooh, what's going on here that maybe I don't want to buy it.
Yeah. So I think you made the comment, and kind of, I'll stretch it out a little bit. You don't have to beat up every room in the house with all the most beautiful of furnishings. The most important part is usually when they step in the door, what do they see? What's that first impression? Because that's going to be a very serious part of their thinking process as they go through. And there's some realities to just leaving a house open and clean and fresh, like Bobbi said. So you want to start to get into the statistics of it all, Bob?
I sure will. So this is drawn from the NAR. Is this NAR? Did you pull from NAR or CAR on this?
NAR, National Association of Realtors.
Okay. The home staging effect on a buyer's view of the home. 49% of the buyer's agents cited that home staging had an effect on most buyers' view. And Buddy and I just discussed that. Absolutely. They need to be pulled in. And only 4% of the respondents said that home staging had not had any effect on their buyer's view of a home. So I have to tell you, the 4% that says it has no impact, not true. It's going to impact one way or the other. It may have very little or it may have huge. And we saw that. They came in and they redid a carpet on a recent sale of mine, and it had stunning furniture. The former owner was a decorator.
Oh, beautiful. Yes.
But the carpet had to go. It simply had to go. So we just paid extra for the carpet people to come in, take out these stunning pieces of furniture, then put them back in. Because some of them, even you said, they're museum style.
Quality. Yeah, museum quality.
They were, and so they needed to stay. To empty it out would have been a disaster. But one thing we didn't do, we didn't bring back the king-size bed. We brought in the smaller queen, remember?
Makes the room look bigger.
Yes, much bigger.
One of those tricks of the trade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And actually, it looked absolutely stunning. It was only on the market for, I always do the 10-day plan where you've got, exposed for 2 weekends.
Hot market,
and
get the most traffic across you can. Yeah.
Absolutely. And people go, oh, no, take those preemptive offers. And it's like, no, spend the money to make it look great and make sure it gets all the exposure that it needs to get. And because many of these people, it's the last time we talk about this on our senior program, Buddy. It's the last time they have
living better,
to bring that money to the table. So you need to expose it to more than 2 or 3 people.
Yeah, and those dollars count big time for those folks. So you got to really think about that. And we're starting to get into some of the what I'll call the raison d'etre. 77% of the buyers' agents that were interviewed for this research said that if you stage it well, it's going to improve the results.
Absolutely.
So 77% said it's easier to visualize the property as a future home. Okay? 40% were more willing to walk through a home they had saw online. So the pictures, the beautiful pictures that you took of the property, and they're online, boom. Mm-hmm. People say, oh, I want to go see that house.
Well, I have to agree. What they see online, then that draws them in. And the prettier the picture, the better. Well, just with Sotheby's, how long did they stay on our Sotheby website because of the photographs?
7 minutes. Amazing.
That is amazing. Well, we're going to jump back in about why staging makes such a difference and the importance, and actually the importance of all the different rooms in just a mere minutes. But we do have to take a break here. We do have to go to commercial break, and then we will come back. So stay tuned for RE Radio Live, the importance of staging.
For more information on today's program, visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com.
Are you and your lifestyle fulfilled by the properties that you own? Do you need to rethink or look at different options, perhaps even in different places on the globe? Either locally or globally, you need competencies and commitments to achieve your goals most effectively. Bobbi Decker, working with her teammates in Sotheby's International Realty, with over 750 offices in 52 countries and territories, can help. Even here in the San Francisco Bay Area, if a property isn't what she or her team believes they can effectively market, they will find a high-quality Sotheby's agent that has the right expertise. For more information or assistance, contact Bobbi at 650-346-5352. Visit her website at www.bobbidecker.com or email bobby.decker@sotheby'srealty.com. That's bobby.decker@sotheby'srealty.com. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. Again, your hosts for today's edition of Real Estate Radio Live, Bobbi Decker and Buddy Sophie.
And hello. So we are back with the importance of staged rooms. And before we jump into that, if you have any questions whatsoever about staging or anything having to do with real estate, please do get in touch with us. You can reach me at bobbidecker.com, and that's BOBBI at bobbidecker.com, or you can text or call me 650-346-5352. And Buddy has his own Buddy at bobbidecker.com. So we're very, very approachable, and we get back to you with any and all questions because a educated consumer can make the right decisions. Joe and you and I say that all the time.
Right. That's really what this programming is all about. It's about helping to educate the consumer so they know the right things to do.
Mm-hmm. And I will give you the information for Joe in the next segment. But really, contact us because it's worth, an ounce of education is worth a pound of problems, or can cure a pound of problems.
That doesn't sound right to me, but
no.
Whatever it was is
what it
was.
We're back, and
we're a little
be
shy.
Forgiven for the last.
We're back on the radio again. We're so shy.
Here we are.
All right.
So anyway, get going on your
stats. All right. So my stats were talking about the impacts of the buyer viewing a staged home, and this was out of the National Association report. And I had talked about initially the fact that 75% of the buyer's agents said staging is really a great part of helping people visualize the future of living in that property. Some of the things here are very interesting, though. It's going to positively impact those people that kind of see whatever that design point is and it matches theirs kind of point of view. And that becomes a critical factor. So I think Bobbi can probably take a couple of seconds about it has to be neutral. It has to be a stage where it hopefully doesn't say too much, but nice. It says great looking. It doesn't have to say, oh my God, it's right spot on with my view of what I want this house to be, but it can't be a distracting one way or the other, far right, far left, so to speak, right?
Right, correct. And we saw that when we did the townhouse on the water. It was an older townhouse. It had been in rental for many, many years. Again, owner was willing to throw in a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to redo kitchens. But where do you start? How do you know the buyer's going to like what you picked for the new kitchen? And the seller's trying to do the new kitchen as cheaply as possible, but to look good. Then you've got the buyer who wants that high-end look with the slate. Now it's not just stainless steel. It's called a slate color. It's very pretty. It doesn't show fingerprints. Very elegant look. So that's two ends that aren't going to meet, Buddy.
Right.
And so what we did was we cleaned it up, painted it with fresh paint, and that light Navajo white is a gorgeous thing with a white accent. The shutters popped, and then we had it staged very minimally, but with fabulous. It was neutral, but fabulous pops of color. Remember the yellow? Everybody came in, and it was like gray and yellow and cream. And the yellow just popped. Oh, yeah, the yellow just... Everybody sat in that living room and looked at the water. Yeah. I mean, they fell in love. It was perfect. Also, remember the changeover you did in Hillsborough to that house that was on them a long time and had a great deal of antique furniture in a very modern-looking home? Yes. And it stayed on the market with another realtor for almost 280 days, and you guys came in and we did a beautiful video, and in the staging we put in, the buyer came in 6 weeks. He not only bought the house, he bought the staging too. So, yes. I mean, talk about the right staging to bring in a $4.7 million buyer. Yes. That was a pretty important staging and nowadays, exclamation point. People don't have time to go shop for furniture, Buddy. You know, there's some that want to start their legacy and they want to go and pick every single piece of furniture, but that doesn't seem the norm anymore. They would much like the convenience. And the staging that was used was high-end staging, so they were able to come in. Yeah, it was all brand new stuff. Right. It wasn't restaged. Yeah. Well, just a couple more quick data points on that. Here's one that I thought was particularly interesting. They overlook other property faults, 27% of the people. So the staging can take away from other negative issues on the property. That's an amazing statistic to me. 27%, I'm sorry. Wow. Isn't that amazing? Remember the little house on 31st? There was that little house, and it had a 1930s kitchen. I'm to tell you, all you listeners, this was an old kitchen. Well, but rather it was the first time I had ever seen one of the old potato drawers that kind of drops down, and it had an air vent out the back part of the house with a screen on it. Mm-hmm. So the potatoes would go in there, and they would stay, relatively fresh because the air would circulate. It was so interesting. And the one thing was they wanted to update this kitchen. It did have a dishwasher, a standalone range, gas range. Well, yeah, but those were sort of put in. You could not. What we did not want the owner to do is to put money in there when we knew someone was going to come in and do the open concept. Yeah. Remember? And open it to the rest of the house. So we just made it look cute. Audrey Hepburn was hanging on one wall, and Humphrey. Yeah, we played on the other. Yeah, we played the early era card fully in that staging. Absolutely. And it looked just darn. Again, yellow. We had lemons on the table. table in that kitchen and little lemon-colored towels, and it just looked so cute. And people came in and said, what a little dollhouse. Now, it would have cost $1 gazillion to get that looking and moving those walls.
Right. So we brought up color twice already, the color yellow twice.
Always to pop, though.
Yeah. So if you really do the study of colors, which a number of the stagers really do, they really understand the values that people associate with colors. So one of the strategies that we often use is we'll stage the outside and we'll put some plants by that big glass door so that it kind of pulls your eye out to the plant, and it actually makes the room feel bigger. Isn't that amazing?
It is, and it's right. You're right. They'll look out and they go, oh, look at this great patio. It's not that small.
No, it opened the room up in the process.
Because you got that pop. Sure, you've got the reds, the yellows, the purples.
They're great. Okay, so back on to statistics. What do you think, Bob?
Well, I'm going to be jumping into the importance of staged rooms and really go into detail, but we're running up against, the end of this segment. We've got another 2 minutes, so I'll just give an overview. The staging of living room for buyers is found to be the most important, 55. And I think that's because that's the room you start to walk in on. Just like you.
Yeah.
You never get, and I love, this is a Bobbyism, you never get
watch out, here we go.
a second chance to make a good first impression. And
Totally.
that's from the time they pull up in front of the house to walk in. There's so many, and you are the one that says the devil is in the details. And you're very good at that.
Success, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so when they pull up that curb appeal, that's why we stage the outside very often of a property, because the curb appeal and the outdoor part of their living, their lifestyle, has to match the beauty of the inside of the property.
And we're going to go into that, too, because Bud and I do a lot of outside staging, because if the outside looks awful and the inside's pretty, they've already prejudged you. It's a waste of money. But we can't go into it now, because guess what? We need to break for another announcements coming along, but we are going to be here for the third segment of a really interesting, fun subject, and that's staging a home to get the most out of it. So stay tuned and come on back to RE Radio Live.
For more information on today's program, visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. Again, your hosts for today's edition of Real Estate Radio Live, Bobbi Decker and Buddy Sophet.
And welcome back. Welcome back. Buddy and I are thrilled to be back. We're having a lot of fun talking to you about staged houses, staged rooms, the importance of, and
the benefits to that home seller that are there.
Exactly.
And then some of the issues that people that don't want to stage, and we get that too. But
we do.
But we're going to give you lots of data that helps you to understand why some of the benefits of staging are really important benefits to you, the seller.
Well, before we even jump into that, though, I would love to give our contact information again. Joe's not with us today, Joe Kachera. You can reach Joe at joe@reradiolive.com, or you can phone or text him at 408-838-9060. And, he is the lender par excellence. He has helped so many of our clients. And not a heavy sale, not a heavy hand. The three just aren't.
No, but no. You can call Joe and find out where you are, what you can be really approved for, and what that would mean in the context of the home that you're going to buy. So he's very much about education and information. So don't hesitate to call Joe, even if you're trying to guess at where you're going to go and how you're going to get there is really an important time. And then in some cases, we want to look at a refinance or other financial options around owning property. So Joe's a great guy for connecting with on that. And of course, you can always go to the website, reradiolive.com, and find out more about all of us there.
Right. And the same with us. If you've got a question about real estate, ask it, because it could cost you a lot of money if you do not. And Buddy and I, when you go to our website, you do not have to log in. You just can gather the information. We have all kinds of old podcasts. We have the older RE Radio Live programs. I mean, it's all meant to educate you to make the right decision.
Yeah, Bobby's blog, actually, 3 times a week. We have Market Update on Monday. We usually do a rerun of these programs on Tuesday. We do a senior section, Senior Spotlight, on Wednesday. So there's lots of information there, and of course these shows will be landing on that website as well, www.bobbidecker.com, and it's BOBBIDECKER.com.
Okay, and we also have so many great people like Ron Ricard for exchanges and things. Just remember, you can make a mistake with us and we'll forgive you. You can't make a mistake with the IRS. They don't forgive. No. There's lots of penalties involved. No. So before you do something thinking it's the right thing to do, find those experts and get the advice. So back we are. Back to staging. I can take one here, Bobby, that's actually going to... Bobby opened the show with a dialogue about this, about how, cleaning the house and everything. I can give you the statistics. These are the most common home improvement items that are recommended to sellers. Let's take a look. So 93% just decluttering. We kind of mentioned that. Really critical. We had a dialogue about that. The entire home cleaning, 89%. Right up there in the top of the list, as Bobby mentioned. Carpet cleaning, Bobby mentioned, 81%. Here's one we hadn't talked about, but it's not a good idea to have your pets in the house when people are coming in for an open house. So that's a good one to be careful of. So, minor repairs, there's some things. Let's do the minor things. Bobby and I will walk around with a little paintbrush to clean up a spot or two, and the magic erasers. What a little trick those guys are for taking a spot off a wall. Gorgeous stuff, right? Landscape outside, we've talked about that a bunch. Painting walls, Bobby mentioned. The touch-up paint I just talked about. And always professional photos. And know what you're photographing. I know that a lot of people they're just into this whole video thing on their iPhones, not to present a home. That's fine if you want to take somebody on a quick tour, and I know a lot of agents, especially the younger agents coming in, love to do these virtual tours, their virtual tours. Yes. But there's nothing that presents a home better than a professional who does this as a job. They know what the lighting is like. They know how to correct things if it's not photographed as perfectly as you want. You cannot ever. I've had vacant houses that are shot by my favorite professional videographer, and people are just gaga over the fact, because they get the right angle, they get the right sunlight coming in, and even if somebody doesn't want to pay to have it staged, or maybe it's heirs, that a lot of trustees, they're selling so fast they go, why bother, that kind of thing, but they still get the right lighting and the right angle.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we're out there with a hose watering down the driveway for that
sparkly
shot in the evening. Yeah, there's all kinds of those things that go on. But as Bobby talks about the use of video, that is becoming de rigueur for selling homes, particularly high-end. Yes, the iPhone can be used, but boy, you should use a stabilizer. We can give you the whole video if you're going to do that. But a professional is what you want. So I very often will write a script for Bobby, or I do that for other realtors too, about the house, and then you give that to the videographer. That becomes sort of their storyline that creates a shot list for them, and then we tell them what kind of equipment they need to bring. Do they bring the remote helicopter, the drone? Do they bring a slide bar? There's a whole list of things that people can do with video tools to make the house look really spectacular, and we know how to do that. It's very important to really make it pop.
You do need to make it pop. And then when we're talking about popping, here are the rooms per importance. In the living room, 55% of the buyers feel as though that is the most important room. 31% feel as though it makes a difference. Master bedroom, 51%. Again, keep that king-size bed out of there unless you have something that resembles a football field, because it will diminish the room tremendously if you go above a queen-size bed. And then 33% feel as though it's secondarily important. The kitchen, 41%. And more of that is the declutter and cleanliness of it than it is the newer appliances. Although if your appliances are avocado green, and you're going to be doing beiging everything out, you might think about a new set that's more neutral. Well, although, man, some of the millennials love that avocado green mid-century look.
Have fun with it.
You know, it depends on how you just create around it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so one of the ones that Bobbi always makes sure that we do is, if you are going to have an old stove, electric stove in there, is get rid of those little chrome pans under the heating element and bring in fresh ones. They cost $1 a piece or something like that, and you can freshen up that look right away, because that's usually where they look terrible.
Oh, and the tinfoil.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, please. Please. No tinfoil. If you remember nothing from this program this morning, it's no tinfoil around the kitchen.
I'm sorry we're laughing, because I can't tell you how many times we've come into a property and that was part of what had to go right away.
Absolutely. And then you've got your dining room. There's not much you can do with that. I mean, you just make sure that looks nice and clean and bright. And bathrooms, always get rid of everything that could even be construed as clutter. And if they got a dirty old hanging curtain, shower curtain, that goes. Clean, white, crisp, neutral.
Amen.
That's it.
That sounds like what we've got to salute.
And I have to tell you, the
crisp, white, and neutral?
Neutral.
Okay.
You know, because that just makes people look and say, I can move in here. If there's a lot of patterns, lots of geometric designs going on, too many photos. I know you love your family and you love your dog and you love all 18 pictures that are hanging on the wall, but they need to visualize themselves, and they might not even like dogs.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem.
Yeah. So is that a new Bobbyism?
Nah.
No,
I got to save those. I can only have like 5, and I've got the top 5 going now.
Okay.
The guest bedroom actually is the least important, those 2 bedrooms. But like I say, if it's a place where there are great schools and you think that there will be a number of families, or the at-home office is another thing you can use one of those bedrooms for, just so people can see themselves and see that they're going to be not in. Many people are getting away, believe it or not, Buddy. They're getting away from the open concept because there's nowhere to go to get away from the kids and the noise and everything if you have to do work.
Yeah, well, they want
that door to close.
You want to bring that up to me? So here's what I see about this open concept, and people might not love me. Well, maybe we're going to have to come back and talk about it here in a few minutes. But I have a very distinct point of view as it regards this open concept.
You can go on.
I can. Okay. All right. So the reality of that for me is you got all your pots and pans. You have all your friends in. You've just cooked a beautiful meal, and there's stuff all over the kitchen because it takes that to cook it. And then you're going to have them sit down in the dining area that's immediately off the kitchen. And what do they look at? A stack of pots and pans and glasses. And how come that just doesn't make sense to me? Now, if you're not ever going to really use that dining room and everybody's going to hang out in the kitchen and they want to eat with their fingers out of your pots and pans, fine, have a good time. But it's just not, it doesn't make sense to me.
Buddy, you're so East Coast.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm just too old.
Yeah, well, both of us. Hello. Here are the boomers. Every segregated room, close the door, get rid of the clutter, close off all the dirt.
Where do you hide your junk?
I know. Well, I have to tell you, for sure, that kitchen concept, I just noticed it this year. So it's been really running for 6 years. And, you know, we do go through cycles. We went through the turquoise and we went through the peach, and now we're going through the neutrals and the beiges with the pops of color. And navy blue's making a huge comeback. So we're going to come back in the next segment, our final segment, and go on just a little bit more about how not to waste money on staging, but how to get the most out of your staging. So you stay tuned, and we shall be right back to RE Radio Live. Thanks.
For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Again, your hosts for today's edition of Real Estate Radio Live, Bobbi Decker and Buddy Sopet.
And welcome back to our fourth and final segment on staging homes, why it's important to do just the right amount, just the right cost to get the best results. And one of the charts that I have actually looked over was the agents. They actually asked the agents, Buddy, what do you think about it? They did a survey, and 38% said they always stage their homes before they put them on the market. And then guess what?
What?
37 to 38% say they never tell their client to stage their home. They tell them to clean it up and declutter it. So I think that you really do have the yin and the yang, especially here in California where they sell so fast.
Yes, I get that in some cases, yeah.
And there are a lot of trusts. There's a lot of money changing generational hands right now. And people left the beneficiaries in a trust, not necessarily the people that want to spend additional money staging. But they may go and clean. They always should. You and I know that. But sometimes that's like pulling teeth. Anyway, that's how I see the agents splitting up on that one.
But even the work you've done with fiduciaries and probate attorneys, sometimes the redo of the house, that house up in Daly City, I mean, they almost rebuilt the doggone thing and got an extraordinary price point for it. So that group of trustees, or the trustee, the executor, was more than willing to put the money into the property to get an extra, some six-digit figure out of that he wouldn't have gotten had the home stayed in the condition it was in.
Right. But then you'll get one where, again, you start changing it out, like the one down in San Jose, Cupertino border that we just did. And to get furniture in there, it was going to sell so fast because it was coming on the market. And the school, that you had to be registered with the school. So even I sat down with them and said, okay, neutralize all the walls, get rid of all of that wallpaper that's 1950s, you know, the foil. The foil flocked. In the bathroom, hadn't seen that in a while.
No.
And we were right. You know, it lasted the 10 days. We had 15 offers, and they got their kids into that school just in the nick of time with the closing. So I just thought that was amazing to see 38, 37. So what do you have for me?
So time to market, or time on the market, excuse me. This sort of flies in the face of how our markets are working here, but this show streams live around the world, and then the podcasts are open to around the world, and not every part of the United States even is moving at the breakneck speed we are here. So time on the market is important. That's, you know, how quickly are you going to get to your money if you're selling your property. Well, here's some statistics that are probably going to mean more to other parts of the world. 39% of the agents say it greatly decreased the time on the market. So rather than sitting there maybe for 35, 40, 60, 90, 120 days in some market segments, and that gets substantially reduced. That's a wonderful number. Then they say slightly decreased to 23%. So we're talking over 60% of the agents are saying that this is going to shorten the time on the market. Your house is going to sell faster. And, of course, the numbers that we're going to tell you in just a few minutes are also going to mention the fact that they sell for more.
They do. They absolutely do. I have to tell you that we've got about 1/3 of the buyer's agents said that staging a home increases the dollar value between 1 and 5%. So you're looking at 30% believing it increases at least 1 to 5%. You add another 13%. They believe, 13% believe that it increases at 6 to 10%. And then 3% believe it's 11 to 15%. But see, they do believe it makes a difference. So you add these little percentages up, you've got 50% of the agents believe that you can get anywhere from 1% 5%, all the way up to 20% more if you do the staging correctly.
And if you factor in the cost of staging, let's got some numbers on the top of your head, Bobbi. The big house, we did $15,000 worth of staging, and we got
that was a huge property.
That was a huge property, but it was $15,000 worth of beautiful staging, and that's where the person bought the staging. As the furniture for their home. So was that a great investment? Did that help to draw that buyer in? Oh my gosh, yes, it did. It just, the home sold in part because of the way it was staged.
Well, I just think that when you're making it look its best, you're putting your best foot forward. Again, that Bobbi is never a second chance to make a good first impression. Do not throw it out there looking cluttered and messy and yucky and bad pictures and so on, because they may not come back to you. You might not sell, and they're going to go to the next realtor and then the next realtor. You've seen it in the market.
We've done it.
And, we've been able to pick up sellers like that. And we
were at the end of the chain, and we did it the right way.
Exactly.
I don't mean to brag.
And it was fun to do. But it would have been great if the agent that had it previous had done the same thing, because you never want to be playing catch up. It costs a lot to market these homes, and you don't want somebody to walk. So I wanted to just get back to all of our viewers. We have 1 minute to let them know how to get in touch with us. We've got Joe at reradiolive.com. We've got Bobbi at bobbidecker.com. Buddy at bobbidecker.com, or go to any of our websites. You can go to reradiolive.com, or you can go to www.bobbidecker.com. And we've had a blast bringing staging back to you.
Back on the radio, yay!
See you next week, where we'll have more for you to learn and be amused by. Thanks for joining us today.
Have a great day.
You've been listening to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's program, visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. Tune in, log in, download our podcast. Discover more at reradiolive.com. reradiolive.com.